Well, one of the worst kept secrets in Hollywood now seems to be official. It's being reported that Kick-Ass and Savage's star Aaron Taylor Johnson is officially set to play Pietro, Quicksilver, Maximoff in Joss Whedon's Avengers Age of Ultron. However, Taylor Johnson's Quicksilver won't be the first one on the big screen. Evan Peters is set to play the same character in Bryan Singer's X-Men Days of Future Past this May. John, what do you make of Aaron Taylor Johnson officially taking the role of Quicksilver?
Well, yeah, it is one of the worst kept secrets, and we've talked about this a couple of times because the rumor has been out there for a long time. We've known that Aaron Taylor Johnson was going to be Quicksilver for a very, very long time. So I'm just going to kind of reiterate something that I've already mentioned. If you're going to have Quicksilver in X-Men or Avengers Age of Ultron, then I'm more than happy that it's Aaron Taylor Johnson. I like him as an actor very, very much. I think he's got a lot of range, and I think he'll be a great Quicksilver. My whole caveat to the whole thing is that I still don't believe that they should be using Quicksilver in the Avengers. Now, Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch are the only two, and you know what, I get a lot of questions about this in the mailbag. Let me be clear. These are the only two characters that both Fox and Marvel have an agreement on that they both can use. Because, you know, I get a lot of people emailing saying, well, this person was in X-Men and in the Avengers. Does that mean they can both be used too? No. Kevin Feige was very clear that only Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch fall under this special clause that each of them can use them. But I'm going to tell you right now, the fact that X-Men is also going to be using him, and the fact that Avengers can use him, but Avengers cannot mention that he is a mutant, and they can't mention that his father is Magneto, and, you know, then you get into X-Men where they can't, you know, mention obviously that he was in the Avengers, stuff like that. Neither one of them can actually give us a true Quicksilver. They can't, because neither one of them can use the full totality of who the character is. They don't have that at their disposal. I would much rather see, if only one could use him, I'd rather see him in the X-Men universe. But if they're both going to split them up and say we can't use the totality of who the character is, look, Avengers has 100 other characters they could use. 100 other great characters. So why use a character that has one foot in another universe? You can't use the totality of who the character is. I've never understood the rationale behind putting him in this. In the first place, he's a great character, but you can't actually represent the character properly, so what's the point? But anyway, he is in there, and if he is, why not make it Aaron Taylor Johnson? I think he's a great choice. Aaron?
I agree with you. I think he's a fantastic choice, and I love Kick-Ass. I love Aaron Taylor Johnson. It's interesting that Evan Peters is also in the original Kick-Ass. But here's my problem with this. I don't like this because I think Aaron Taylor Johnson is the better casting pick. And so I don't really want to see Evan Peters play him first and then see Aaron Taylor Johnson follow when I think he's the better pick personally. And I guess time will only tell. Time will only tell who is remembered as Quicksilver, so I guess we'll see what people think when both of these movies come out. But I agree with you, it's really unfortunate with all the rights, it's so complicated, and that we'll never get Quicksilver as he's meant to be. But if we did have to have one Quicksilver, I would want it to be Aaron Taylor Johnson. Sorry,
you know,
I can't
the
talk
interesting
right now.
thing too is that, you know, X-Men has a history of having a lot of characters in their films that they don't necessarily use very much. I mean, how much Jubilee was on screen in the original X-Men? I think maybe she had one line and just walked through the camera once. They had a lot of mutants that we knew who they were, but had no dialogue, just showed up. And although Peters is in the X-Men film as Quicksilver, I got a feeling he's going to be a pretty petite role, so hopefully it won't be too contrasting with Aaron Taylor Johnson. We'll see.
If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to AMC Movie News on YouTube. It's free and a great way to stay updated with all the latest movie news and check out our daily show, AMC Movie Talk. Also, don't forget to check us out on Facebook and Twitter to stay in the loop for our special prizes, giveaways, and contests.